Okay, hello ladies and gentlemen, this is the Canadian Greek coming at you with this installment, which is going to be called The Nutty Professor and Planet X. Let's get to it right away because I have a great deal to get through today. Okay, this is the Courageous Nerds channel, okay, and apparently they're not taking Dr. or so-called Dr. Kaplan's word. We don't know if he's a doctor or not, or if he's even actually a professor. They're not taking his word for it when he put out his retraction video, okay, that basically says that this whole thing was a farce and a joke. This here, just read a little bit here. It says, no disrespect. By the way, they're claiming that his retraction, or the fact that he says it was a joke, was forced, and that he's actually dead or whatever, missing. No disrespect, but let's forget about the now dead Dr. Kaplan for a minute. Why can't the trolls talk about this article? Blah, blah, blah. Alright. Well, let's just see what I have to say about the Nutty Professor and his claims about knowing where Nibiru is and giving us coordinates and such, blah, blah, blah. First, let's begin with this astronomer, Planet X, and the mysterious death of Dr. Robert S. Harrington. Dr. Robert Harrington. In 1991, Dr. Robert S. Harrington, the chief astronomer of the U.S. Naval Observatory, took a puny 8-inch telescope to Black Birch, New Zealand, one of the few viewing points on Earth optimal for sighting Planet X, which he definitively calculated to be approaching from below the ecliptic at an angle of 40 degrees. Below the ecliptic, okay? This is important. Below the ecliptic, okay, at an angle of 40 degrees. Why do I say that's important? Oh, by the way, Dr. Harrington's, after his mysterious death, okay, he died in a head-on collision, by the way, his lab was burnt down the next day, so I find that more than just suspicious. But below the ecliptic at an angle of 40 degrees. Why do I say that? Let's play this here for a second.
56.
Okay, now this is the Nutty Professor, and when in here he's giving us right ascension and declination, okay, coordinates for us to go and see where we can actually locate Planet X if you have a telescope. Right now it's been cloudy as hell for the last week in my neck of the woods, so I can't see squat. But let's take stellarium, okay, 4 hours, 8 minutes and 7.93 seconds, 4 hours, 8 minutes, 7.9, okay, 95 seconds, 93 seconds, okay, let's fix that. And it doesn't really matter, 93, okay, and 60 by 56, 43, 30, 66, 43, 30, okay, and there you go. Fine. Now, let's take that down, and let's see where that, let's see if we can't, make this a little bit larger here. Let's see where that takes us, okay? It's in the constellation of Camelopardalis, okay, and it is definitely above the ecliptic, okay. Oh, what's that? Is that where Ison would have been had it not blown up? Had it not, been blown up? And this is the wrong constellation of Camelopardalis, and this is where he says we can find Planet X. All right. Now, the fact that number one, it's above the ecliptic, is, for me, the first telltale sign that this is not even close. Okay, let's have a look at some other things as well. Alright, now, there's a channel on YouTube owned by this gentleman here. This is Gil Broussard, and he's done some very good research on Planet X. If you don't know this channel, if you're not familiar with this channel and with Gil, I suggest you get familiar, you visit this channel, and you look at all of his videos. He does a very, very good job of weaving together science and biblical text, okay, to come up, and he's come up with some very interesting information. I think you guys should all have a look at it. I will actually be using some of his illustrations in my in this video here, okay, in this presentation. So let's move along with that. Okay, this is from Gil Broussard's research. Okay, now, and by the way, everything I know says that Planet X will be coming out of the constellation of Aquarius. Okay, Gil's pretty much matching that up, and he's put biblical text to his dates and to everything that's coming around. Now, Gil says that we will encounter Planet X, okay, during the month of Passover, which is April and March, or yeah, March, April, sorry, and that's when we will see Planet X. That's when Earth will have its close call with this giant planet. Okay, and that's when we will also encounter our first meteor storm. Okay, after Planet X passes, after we cross paths with it, which will come very close to Earth, by the way, we will have our first and probably most severe meteor storm, and then 150 days later, we will have, when we encounter its incoming path, we will go through another meteor storm. This meteor storm will be on the sunward facing side, and this meteor storm will be on the dark side of the planet, okay, on the night side. I think that's about it. And by the way, he says Wormwood will be here somewhere, and this, by the way, the second meteor storm will be in August, September, okay, and the first meteor storm will be in March, April, okay. And by the way, that's when we see Planet X, and this is when we go through the second meteor storm, which is the same thing, which is his inbound path. Here's where Gil and I differ. He believes that Planet X is just one planet in our solar system with an extremely elongated orbit that comes around approximately every 320 years. And he's found several instances that go back all the way to Noah's flood, etc., 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 that cite that this thing comes around every so often. Now, this is where he and I differ. He believes it's just a planet in our solar system. I believe that it's a planet of an entirely different solar system, which is basically a sister star to our own. I believe that our system, we are in a binary system. There's our sun and we have our sister star, and Planet X basically revolves around our sister star, okay? So, or orbits our sister star. Now, let's go on to the next one. Estimating the year of Planet X return. He calls it 7X because he believes it is 7 times the size of Earth. That's why he calls it 7X. I just call it Planet X return. Its return will become apparent when Planet X is actually, when he calls it 7X, is actually sighted in December, Hanukkah, the prior year, as a distant bright object equivalent to the appearance in size to Jupiter and as bright as Venus in the night sky. We will then have approximately 3.5 months before the first of 2 meteor storms, which I showed you in the previous shot, right? The first meteor storm and the second meteor storm. Okay, 316-year cycle. Okay, 319 was the one previous, 324 the previous one before that, etc. 2013, between 2013 and 2016, there's a very strong probability, which is the biblical estimate. Okay, according to between his biblical research and science, he estimates that it will be between now and 2016. Very interesting, because so do I. Beyond 2016, from 2017 to 21 is a moderate probability, and 2021, so beyond 2021, so 2022 and 2030 is the least probable. Okay. This is basically our magnetosphere, our planet's magnetosphere. Okay. This is the different wavelengths and energy coming off from the sun, from gamma rays, X-rays, UV, visible light, which is a very narrow spectrum, by the way, infrared, microwaves, AM, FM radio waves, long radio waves, electromagnetic energy at 300 kilometers per second, etc. You guys know all about solar wind if you followed any of my ISON research. These are the solar winds. This is basically where we will cross with planet X. This is the solar wind, and this is planet 7X and its magnetosphere, and this is when the Earth will actually stop rotating, because it will be caught in planet X's magnetosphere. Okay, and when they actually do come to intersect here, okay, planet X will actually come inside, according to Gill, will actually come inside the orbit of the moon. Now, planet X is entirely huge, like Jupiter-sized. Okay, now imagine something Jupiter-sized coming as close as the moon, if not inside the orbit of the moon. This is something that you might be able to see. Okay, if you haven't already, defecated and dropped a big load in your pants and, probably died of fright. You'll be able to see something like this. Okay. What else? Now, Gil and I came at this research from two different angles. Okay, he came at it from the biblical and scientific angle. I had different sources, but my source, well, the last information that I had, put Nemesis, our sister star, by the way, which is a brown dwarf, out beyond the orbit, just beyond the orbit of Uranus. So Uranus is 2,877,000,000 kilometers away from the sun. Okay, 2,877,000,000 kilometers, 150 million kilometers is 1 AU. So 2,877,000,000 divided by 150 million will give you 19.18, which is basically 19.18 AU. Uranus is from Earth. So at that distance and the speed that I was given, that's how I calculated the August-September date of 2016. And that's basically it, guys. So, oh, and by the way, there's one more thing. If the Nutty College professor here, or if the Nutty professor, if his August date was to be true, that would mean that Planet X, if it was just Planet X, and if it was just Nibiru, let's say, okay, and there wasn't any binary star, there wasn't any others, there wasn't anything else. But if Planet X was to be here in August, that would mean that it would have to be at least at the orbit or inside the orbit of Jupiter, at 5 AU. And at 5 AU, a Jupiter-sized planet would definitely be visible with a naked eye, much less every amateur astronomer and every hack with a Walmart telescope would be able to pick this thing up, and would be very visible in the sky. This is bogus, guys. This is a bogus video. Don't give it a second thought, okay? And these guys just keep harping on it, that this guy is dead. Meanwhile, the guy already came out and said it was a joke, okay? So that's basically it. I was not going to make this video because the guy actually came out and admitted it was a joke. But because the courageous nerds just keeps harping on this thing. By the way, I came down here and when I saw this video, I made some comments there. Jason Knight made a comment. He's one of my subscribers, so I commented to him as well that this thing is a joke, and then I got into a conversation with Crow's Hill 777, and then we just kind of went a little back and forth, which is what prompted me to make this video. Okay, otherwise I wasn't going to make it because the guy already said it's a joke, right? And there's no point in me disproving something that's already been self-proclaimed joke. So, but because the courageous nerds keep harping on it, I'm just going to say, you know what, major fail for courageous nerds. Guys don't pay attention to this video. Okay, that's it for now. This is the Canadian Greek. I hope this video helped you out. Hope you found it informative. Peace.